Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I was four-wheeling with Chuck and my uncle Ollie. We were in Colorado, and we were in the middle of a huge open flat field, and somehow Chuck got mired in the mud, and I was firmly convinced that we were going to die right there. This is kind of how we grew up, coming to the mountains almost every weekend. Like, as soon as I came out of the womb, we were in the woods. I mean, certainly been some places that probably not a lot of other people have, so that's kind of cool. I'm not necessarily sure that everybody needs to experience four-wheeling, but I think people need to be outside, you know, enjoying the mountains and the fresh air and nice days like this. I like the challenge of it sometimes too, but when I get ass kicked, it's not as fun. Moab was probably a pretty good example of that. I don't always bring spare underwear, although sometimes I should. Yeah, it's never boring, I guess, to go by myself, but it's certainly more fun to see the oohs and the ahs, and, you know, especially when you do something that's maybe a little bit hairy or something, and you hear the kids screaming in the back seat and having fun. Depending on the trip, you know, it's kind of you against the elements, or you're just out having a good time for a Sunday drive. The Rubicon was something that was pretty damn cool. I think my favorite Rubicon memory was there's two, probably the Slurpees. Remember when we came into town and it was hotter than God, and you guys got the mustache straws, and then the next morning when we were leaving at like dark 30, and you and your sister were in the back of the Blue Jeep bundled up in sleeping bags. I'll never forget that. That was just hilarious. And it was freezing cold in the back of that Jeep, I'm satisfied. But as far as Moab memories go, Pritchard Canyon, hands down. Yeah, not because it's easy or scenic or particularly fun even, it's a bastard. But yeah, I mean, I can remember a lot of times just getting out up on the top of a ridge and seeing the views, and we usually take half a dozen pictures, maybe more, but I can remember almost every one of them.
My mom went into labor on a Jeep trail with me. So I've been doing this from day one. Part of our family. What's that? I give the same piece of advice to everyone, and that's burn gas. Spend your money on fuel. Don't spend money on buying fancy equipment. Don't spend money on your vehicle. Just burn gas. Learn to drive and get out there. Most of my stuff's already ready, so I throw some food in the cooler, hook up the trailer, and drive to camp and set up camp. First thing in the morning, we let all the air out of our tires to give us more traction, and then hit the trails for the day. And then we're usually back in camp in mid-afternoon unless something goes wrong, and then we sit around and tell truth and lies about it around the campfire in the evening. And fellowship time around the campfire, just being able to sit around and talk about the day's events and what's going on in life is one of the best things going on. But it's mostly just peace. It's calm. Standing on the top of mountains in Colorado and in Utah, just thinking, wow, this is unbelievable.
Started going off-road. Jim asked me if I wanted to go out in his Jeep. Little hills that aren't a big deal for me right now. When I first started, you know, he's driving and we're going up a hill or something. It was a little intimidating, a little scary, but it was a lot of fun. At the end of the day, we started having problems with his Jeep. We realized that wheel bearings were going out. So we ended up having to leave the Jeep at a gas station it was kind of history from there, and it's been a great experience ever since. You and Megan really like the Jeep. We take the top off of the Jeep in the summer, and you guys would just climb up the back tires and climb into the roll cage and into the back seats. And you guys were small enough to where we still had car seats going off-road, and you guys thought it was the funnest thing ever, laughing and giggling. In the summer it might be really dusty, and you're out on the trail all day long. By the time you get back to camp, your face is just covered in dirt. And there's been a lot of funny times where we get out of the Jeep and we look at each other, and the amount of dirt and mud you have on your face is just hilarious.